Good afternoon, guys. Today is 7/20/22. It's about 6:38 p.m. or 18:38. And today I wanted to make a quick video regarding coagulation, right? Let's talk about coagulation. But as a form of disclaimer, I'm going to say that this is not even coagulation 101. This is, if anything, coagulation 0.0001. I am going to make this very short, very, very concise, and very, very simple, so as to give you the idea of what coagulation is all about, right? But very simple and very concise. This is in no way something that you should use as the only source of your studying to take a test, okay? This is just an idea, kind of like a skeletal background for you to build up. All right, so let's talk about coagulation today. Coagulation, let's begin by saying it all begins with hemostasis, right? And let's break this word down. This is important. The breaking of the words in medicine and nursing is very important because it'll tell you exactly what it is that you're dealing with. Let's begin by talking about hemostasis, right? And the word is hemostasis or hemostasis, however you want to pronounce it. Then again, bear with me on my accent, right? Hemo is blood, and stasis is you stop, everything slows down and comes to stop. So, in other words, stopping blood or coagulation, okay? So, with that being said, let's go ahead and erase these and let's move on. Let's begin by saying that hemostasis is going to have three mechanisms, right? First off, we're going to have vascular spasm. Second, we're going to have a platelet block. And then we're going to have the coagulation factors come in and so on and so on. But let's go ahead and make it really, really simple. Platelets are key players, right? These guys are primary in hemostasis, right? Which is the process of sealing a rupture in any blood vessel, whether it's from the inside or the outside or whatever the case might be. You know, platelets and hemostasis are all going to play an important role in plugging in that hole so blood is not coming out of that vessel. Then again, if we take a look at this picture I'm about to draw, if this is a vessel and blood is in here, any trauma to that vessel, whether it's from the outside or the inside of the vessel, will cause a problem in terms of, opens a hole, and then this blood over here will leak out of that hole, and we will call that hemorrhage, right? So the process of coagulation is to stop you from hemorrhaging, from bleeding out. Right. So, oh, I think this is a lot bigger. There you go. So first off, let's go ahead and stop at vascular spasm. Whenever you have a vessel that is either punctured or severed or damaged in any way, right? Then vascular spasm is going to occur. In vascular spasm, the muscles, the smooth muscle in the walls of the vessels will contract dramatically, right? They will contract. And they do that because contraction, remember, will stop the bleeding as much as it possibly can, right? So the first thing that is going to happen when you have a severed vessel or a hole in that vessel for whatever reason is that vessel will spasm, right? Will contract. And therefore, when that happens, it will decrease the lumen inside that vessel. And with that being said, that's the first attempt to slow down that bleeding out, right? That's the first thing that's going to happen. Then again, platelets will float in the blood inactive. Right? They float in the blood inactive. They're just lazy and they go down this lazy river hanging out with their friends and whatnot. They're not doing anything. But whenever they come across this situation where there's a severed blood vessel or some type of damage, whether it's, erosion from the inside, or I came in with an axe and cut off your leg, or whatever the case might be, any type of damage, they be able to pick up on that. So they come floating down the river and they see this hole and they all get together. They get, when they get exposed to these, they will get together. They will get the signal to, hey, there's a problem. Let's go ahead and go over to the site of the problem. So platelets are going to come in, and then again, we're going to go back. Hold on, let me change this. We're going to go back to this drawing, right? And we're going to say that right here, we have the problem, right? That's a puncture, severed, damaged vessel. When platelets realize that that's a problem, and they come, floating down the river, and all of a sudden they see that, they're going to turn green. They're going to get angry. They're going to say, oh no, we got to stop this problem. So what they do is they travel to the sites. They become really sticky. They spike up, and they got really sticky legs, and they clamp up on each other, and they stick to each other, and they form a clot in an attempt to clog that hole and cover it and plug it so blood does not go up, right? As they do this, they themselves will then release certain substances down into the bloodstream, and this is a chemical signal for the clotting factors to come in into play, right? So they're saying, hey guys, we are here, we're plugging this hole, but basically what we're doing is we're just putting a finger in that hole, and we're just holding it for a little bit. We need backup. And they themselves set off the coagulation cascade. Now this coagulation cascade will come in, right? And this is a more coagulation in itself, what comes after the platelet plug. It's more of a sophisticated, a better built, more durable plug or fix, right, to that hole. And this is a process that is usually called or known by many as the clotting cascade. It's known as a cascade because basically what you have over here, it's cascade of events happening. This one brings about this one, so this one brings about this one, and so on and so forth. I'm sorry. Right, so we call it the clotting cascade. Right, the result of this is the production of a more solid, more sophisticated, more durable clog that is going to clog that wall and stop the bleeding. In other words, let me put it to you in real life, everyday example, so you can understand it, right? Let's just say that we have a wall, and this wall is painted very nice and everything, and all of a sudden a piece of the wall falls off, boom, to the ground, for whatever reasons, right? So all of a sudden we're gonna have, a whole bunch of blocks that you're going to be able to see them. No longer they have stucco over and paint and they're nice. You're going to see the exposed brick, right? Because that piece of, painting over here, the whole thing just fell off and you see the exposed bricks. What platelets are going to do is that they're going to come in and they're going to just, fill this hole however best they can, right? Is it going to be effective? Yeah, to a certain extent. Platelets are going to be able to, plug the hole, but it's not going to look pretty. And if you take a look at this drawing, right, the part where the platelets are, yes, it's effective. If it rains now, water is not going to come into that wall. It just kind of covers it. But it's first off, not very pretty, not very well done. It's just kind of like stick whatever in there so water does not come in, or in this case, the blood does not go out, right? But it's not definitive and it's not very well done. It's just, kind of ballpark figure just to kind of save the situation. Now, when this happens, as these platelets come in contact with this situation and they become sticky themselves and they start, stacking on top of each other and plugging the hole and making a plug, they themselves will release substances into the bloodstream. And those substances are chemical messengers. And those messengers will tell the coagulation factors, hey guys, come on, let's go. We have a problem. Platelets are calling out for backup. Let's go help them. And that's when you set off the coagulation cascade. And the coagulation cascade, it's going to make a mesh of fibrin, right? Which is more durable, better made, right? In other words, what the coagulation is going to do is going to build up on whatever the platelets did, right? And the coagulation cascade will do this. Let's take a look at the picture, right? They're going to come in, and they're going to make it all even and beautiful again, right? They're going to come in, and they're just going to paint that wall, finish it, and leave it like it was before, right? It's not the whole plug-in action of the platelets, but rather the finishing touches on top of what platelets already did, right? And that's what coagulation is all about. Now, coagulation, you're going to hear or you're going to see in your book that coagulation comes from intrinsic pathway or extrinsic pathway. Then again, let's go back to take a look at these words, intrinsic versus extrinsic, right? Intrinsic talks about inside, whereas extrinsic talks about outside, right? So intrinsic is about a vessel that is damaged from the inside or in the inside, whereas extrinsic could be from either puncturing from the outside or severing from the outside that vessel. In whichever the case, they use different factors, so different clotting factors are set up in these different situations. But the end result of either severing or eroding or puncturing or damaging in any way any blood vessel is going to be number one, vasoconstriction. Number two, platelets blood to the side and they stack on top of each other. They get very, very sticky. They stick to each other and they just kind of plug the hole as much as possible. And then as they do that, they release chemical messengers that will bring about the clotting factors will come in, and they will come in, clotting factor will come in and will make that clot that is already made by the platelets finished. It will finish it up, make it pretty, make it all even, make it durable, right? Rather than being a hole in the wall or a finger in the hole, what they're going to do is they're just going to finish it and make a stable clot that is going to repair the whole thing appropriately. Okay, and I hope that with that being said, from here on out, you kind of have an idea as to what you're looking at, right? Here is what I want you to get out of this video. Number one, vasospasm, right? Those vessels will immediately contract because remember, the more that you decrease the lumen, the less the possibilities of blood coming out, right? You just want to contract it as much as possible. Number one. And then number two, platelets are going to flock to the site and then get stacked on top of each other and kind of plug it and hold, the fort per se. And that will set up the coagulation cascade, which will come in and form a fibrin clot that will be definitive and durable and will be the finished job. Okay, so with that being said, this is again coagulation 0.0001. I hope it helped. And if you guys have any further questions, please by all means go ahead and hit me up. I'm available. Let me know what you need. Let me know what else you want me to talk about, and I'll be more than happy to do so. Thank you for coming in today and watching the video, and I hope it helped. Goodbye.